Hi everyone, I'm Sarxos and I'm technically the current world record holder in a number of EU4 speedrunning categories. I say technically because there really aren't that many people who speedrun EU4 according to the speedrun.com leaderboards. And whether that's because people don't know about these leaderboards or because they don't care, uh, either way, I figured that I might be able to create some more interest for this noble sport by doing a commentary over one of my own amazing world record runs and kind of try to explain the strategy I used and whatnot. So the run I'm going to commentate on is one I did in the category for Mughal Empire, where you need to, well, form the Mughal Empire. And in EU4 there are two main ways that you can measure the time. You can either go by the in-game date and just try to complete the objective as early as possible. That's called IGT, stands for in-game time, or you can do a more traditional speedrun where you use an actual timer to measure the minutes and seconds and so on, which is called RTA. I've done this run in both IGT and RTA, but the one I'm going to commentate on here is the RTA No Speed 5 category, and that's a subcategory of RTA where you're not allowed to use Speed 5 because that's highly dependent on how fast your computer is, and that kind of gives an inherent advantage to people with faster computers. So it's arguably more fair to not allow the highest speed. Anyway, before we get into this, I'll just say that the strategy I use is rather complex. I'll try my best to explain everything, but we'll just have to see how that goes. In short, I'll be playing as a Delhi, and in order to form the Mughals as Delhi, you first need a culture shift to an Iranian culture, which I'll be doing by conquering a province from Baluchistan, developing it to the point where it makes up 50% of my state development, and then culture shift to the Baluchi culture, and that will allow me to form the Mughals after I also acquire like one province. So yeah, with that said, let's just get into it. Yeah, you can see my timer over there with splits because I'm a pro runner, I guess. So yeah, since I need to develop the province a lot, I'm gonna need a whole lot of monarch power. So you'll see me do various things to acquire more monarch power throughout the run. So first thing I do, I go to the states. So by the way, this is the oldest states. I'm playing a version 1.29 before the rework. And most of the things I do here is just to increase the influence of the emirs and giants so that I can demand a bunch of monarch power from them. But there are also some side benefits like cheaper loans and whatnot. So then I take out just a ton of loans, which is mostly to hire free level 2 advisors, and the diplo advisor I got from the Amir estate, so that one is 50% cheaper. And here I also enact a taxation policy that reduces scoring cost, which also reduces scoring time, which is going to be important. It builds the troops here. I'm also allied with Sindh because they're going to help me in the war against Baluchistan. And here I make my ruler and heir into generals because I don't want to spend any monarch power on recruiting generals. So I only take the free ones. I advance the time after the 12th of December because that's the first day that you can declare war. And I don't have any casus belli, so I need to do a no CV war, but that's fine. So now I just tell Sindh to go for Kalat, the fort there. Meanwhile, I exploit development in a few provinces here. That's mostly just to get some additional money, because money is going to be tight due to all the advisors. But there are also other reasons I don't have time to explain. So now I declare war on Multan, and I actually have a core on them, so I don't need to do another no CV war. However, Multan is allied to Jaunpur, and I have no interest in fighting Jaunpur, so I'll just make peace with them by giving them 2 provinces, revoking some cores, releasing Bangladesh as a vassal, and giving them some money. And this might seem like a really bad deal, but it's actually not too bad because I need to get rid of those 2 provinces anyway. And releasing Jangladesh is actually advantageous because as a vassal they are disloyal, so they won't actually help me in the war. But now that they are released, they are just a regular ally, and they actually will help me in this war. So that's really convenient, actually. So now I just destroyed Multan's troops and will now just split up a bit to occupy all their land, but I will also send one army over to the province of Sivi, because the province of Sivi is actually the one that I want to conquer from Baluchistan, so I need to make sure that I get the occupation there before Sindh does, because otherwise they will not let it go and the run is basically over. And this time I actually noticed that Sindh arrived a little bit before me, so I thought at this point that okay, the run's just over now. But luckily they decided to just abandon that and allowed me to get the occupation myself, so that was really convenient. So at this point I'm just gonna sort of it's gonna split off one of my armies to send siege generals into the two sieges, because it's basically just a matter of winning these two sieges as quickly as possible. That's the main thing. Otherwise, yeah, I'll just consolidate my armies so that I am ready to fight when fighting is required. Yeah, what else is there to say right now? Yeah, it's also a good thing that I have a regiment on Kalat right now, because as you'll see, Sindh just decides to piss off and abandon the siege, and that would have been pretty terrible if I didn't have someone there to hold it down. Would have lost all that siege progress, but luckily I didn't do that now. So yeah, and I got really lucky and won the siege very shortly thereafter, so that's incredibly convenient. I guess I should mention also the reason I'm fighting a war against Multan is because you can't core provinces unless you or a vassal have a border to them. Well, not a landlocked province anyway. So in order to actually conquer the province of Sivi, I need to vassalize Multan so that I have a vassal with a border to them. So that's the entire reason for the war with Multan. However, vassalizing them is going to cost me a bunch of diplo power, and I really need to conserve as much mono power as possible. That's why I'm giving away 2 provinces to Bangladesh, because that means they have to pay the diplo cost for those 2 provinces, and I can save some diplo power myself. And now that I have vassalized Bhutan, I can conquer Sivi here from Baluchistan. And at this point, I'm just going to reduce my war exhaustion, because otherwise that will increase the coring time, and then I start to core Sivi. And while I'm waiting for that one to core, I need to prepare to fight my vassal Sirhind, because there is a event that can trigger, which basically makes Sirhind independent and makes them declare war on you with a reconquest possibility. It's this event. That is actually kind of convenient, because there is a province I need from them, specifically Duaba, in order to form the Mughals. And this way I get to fight a defensive war and get to call in my allies, so that's why I got a few allies. And also, Sirhind is always unprepared for this, which is why they have not increased the maintenance on the fort in Lahore. So I can just get that one for free, basically. And now it's just a matter of winning this war, and there really isn't a hurry, because I need to wait for Sivi to finish coring first before I can finish the run. However, money is, as I mentioned earlier, kind of tight in this run, so the only thing I gotta watch out for is to not go bankrupt, because that would lose me all my mono power and also cancel the coring progress, so that would also kill the run. So that's really the only timer I have on this war, because I need to win this war and demand a bunch of money and stuff in order to basically keep myself afloat. And here I tried out, and at first I was thinking of taking these provinces, but then I figured that I'd rather not have a coalition, which is why I left out Sialkot. I don't know if a coalition would actually have been that bad, but I really don't need to take more provinces than a few. So yeah, and once I have those provinces, as you will see, I will be exploiting them for development to get a bit of extra money. And before I do that though, I will turn them into states, because when you turn them into states, you actually get quite a lot of extra money when you exploit development. Who knew? There's also an additional advantage to this, which I might have time to explain a bit. But anyway, once I have exploited development, I will go and actually hand over most of these provinces to my vassal Multan. And there's also a good reason for this, which I might have time to explain. So I will hand over these 3 provinces to Multan, and I will also try to sell the province of Batiana to Bangladesh. Okay, since we're just waiting for the province to core now, basically, I guess I can try to explain this. So I need to have the maximum amount of monarch power from the clergy estate, which is 200 admin power, in order to get enough monarch power to develop this province in a timely manner. The problem is that I need to get 100% influence for the clergy estate in order to get the maximum admin power from them. But there's a modifier which gives them minus 15% influence as long as Sunni is not my dominant faith. And in order for it to be my dominant faith, it needs to have at least 50% of my total development. However, both Doaba and Delhi, and also all of those provinces that I gave away, were Hindu provinces. So, and I can't get rid of Delhi and Doaba since I need them to form the Mughals. So I get rid of all the other Hindu provinces I have. And then once I have developed CV a bit, the Sunni provinces I have will be in the majority, and that will give me 100% influence and therefore 200 admin power. So now I'm just waiting for this to core before I can do anything else really. And by the way, you will notice that I completely forgot about my split there. Peace with Baluchistan, which is silly. And here I choose an event where I actually lose 25 diplo power, which could have been bad, but I think it worked out anyway. Yeah, so once the sun has finished coring, I will turn it into a state for a number of reasons. One is that, of course, you can't develop a province unless it's your state, I think. Also, I enact a state edict that reduces development cost, and I give this province to the ulema in order to increase their influence. And at this point, I'm a bit worried about bankruptcy, but I see that it's gonna be fine. So now I'm developing this province a bit. I want to make sure to keep around 200 diplo power in order to do the culture shifting. So now I just need to increase the influence of the lemma to 100% so that I can get to 200 admin power. And that will allow me to finish developing COE up to 21, which is 50% of my total state development. So now I can accept Balochi culture, and then I realized that I forgot to remove statehood from Duaba. So now they're 50% of my total state development, and then I can culture shift, and then I can enact a decision to form the Mughal Empire. And that's the entire run. So isn't this just the prettiest Mughal Empire you've ever seen? On the brink of bankruptcy. I would not recommend this strategy if you actually want to like play as the Mughals afterwards, obviously, but it's fast, so hey. Yeah, I don't know if you could follow along with any of that. If you have any questions, you can always leave a comment and I can try to explain in a more sensible manner, I suppose. Otherwise, yeah, if you think that this world record is shite and you want to improve it, then feel free to do so. You can check out the leaderboards at speedrun.com/EU4, I think. Well, there are also a bunch of other categories based on forming nations and completing achievements and stuff like that, many of which at this point actually don't even have any runs submitted to them. So that's a chance to get an easy world record. That's what I've been doing. That's how I gotten like 5 or 6 world records. Yeah, well that's it for me, I guess. So have a good day.